Do what?
Do what? Waiting on you.
Waiting on me for what?
It's Tech Tuesday, brother. We got a lot to talk about, man.
I understand that.
Yeah.
You've seen me do it, get to it.
Oh, they don't know what we're doing. We got a lot to talk about today, guys. We're going to show you putting on the new brakes and rotors. We're going to talk about a safety item if you're screwing around anything with the C8 brakes, what you got to do. And when you rotate the tires, why you have to relearn the tire to the car. Chuck's going to talk about all that here in a second. Another thing you should do at least once a year. Let me go over to the camera so you guys can see this just a little bit better. Chuck uses this dielectric grease to condition these moldings on your Corvette. We've had a couple of questions on Tech Tuesday, and you call it that itching or that rubbing sometimes that you hear. This will prevent that. So whatever you use to condition these moldings to keep them moist so they don't crack and they don't cause that itching is going to make a big difference. So what we're going to do is put the dielectric grease on, let it set for a little bit, and then just rub it off the cloth. Is that right?
Yeah, we're not going to goop it on. We're just going to put a thin layer. First of all, we need to clean this water off where it's...
Oh, before we put it on there?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Mother Nature's not cooperating with Tech Tuesday.
Well, it never does.
No, she doesn't.
But as you can see, there's already a line here of dirt.
Right.
Where the top sits, so...
Yeah, you guys can't see that, but just when you open up your top or you take your top off, you'll see that dust or that dirt in there. And that eventually could cause that itching, rubbing, crackling sound or whatever you see, or hear rather, up on your Corvette. So I'm just going to put some on here real quick. Then the main part of today's Tech Tuesday, Chuck is going to do a full C8 transmission flush. We talked about that last week. Confusion on what a flush was, and no, it's not part of your first service. It's just a top off. It's not adding 2 quarts. It can be done. That's an extra cost on you, the customer. But we're going to do a full flush.
With a filter exchange.
With a filter, 2 filter exchanges.
Exactly.
See, a lot of people think it's just the DCT canister filter, and it's not.
Well, it is for a while.
Yeah, but then we'll show you.
Certain mileage and age, it's both.
So what you see on the screen is when you actually have to do that full C8 transmission flush, depending on your driving habits. I've been driving my car as this car was intended, so I'm ahead of the curve just a little bit. You have to decide for yourself when that's going to be. It's quite a process. It's a great way to maintain this car. We know that in C8, Chuck and I have been sharing with you guys, it's a whole different service interval. It's more involved. It's something you really have to pay attention to properly take care of this car. Just changing the oil and doing the DCT canister filter, Chuck has said it endlessly, and you're seeing it more and more now. That is your first line of defense, protecting that transmission.
Exactly.
You got a wet clutch in there. You got all kinds of particles and stuff floating through there. You got to do this right. We'll continue to remind you guys on our Tech Tuesday segments. So this stuff's going to sit on here when we do all the moldings. We're going to wipe it off. We're going to be good to go. We're going to get this up in the air. We're going to change the entire transmission. Now let's show you talking about the brakes and a safety item, and also too why you got to relearn the tires if you take them off and you rotate them. Okay, instead of just cutting up and making fun of each other, let's give you guys some real content for Tech Tuesday, because you are not only putting on rotors and brake pads, you are going to rotate the tires, and you just reminded me of something.
Yeah, you have to relearn the tires. Even though they're learned to the car, when I change the position, you have to learn the new position. Because if I don't, and it comes up, you got a left rear tire low, well, the left rear tire's now on the right rear. So
gotcha.
Every time you rotate the tires, you have to relearn the position of the tire.
All right. That's why he's the star of Tech Tuesday. Remember, rotate those tires on your C8 every 7,500 miles. All right, you guys still watching? Good, thank you. We actually have more education for you. That's the whole purpose of Tech Tuesday. You know, Chuck's changing out these rotors and brake pads. In doing so, it's important to remember what, sir?
Well, as anytime you're messing with the brake system on these new C8s, I'm going to disconnect the battery. Because at any point in time, this thing can go through a self-test and actually a self-pressure test and apply the calipers. And you don't want that going on when you have them off. So to prevent that, you know, the first step in SI, anytime you're dealing with the brake, even though I'm not doing anything electronic with the brakes, it's all mechanical, rotors and pads, it still could do a self-test and hurt me or hurt the car.
Right, because you're not actually bleeding the brake line.
No.
You're just doing calipers
And rotors.
I apologize. You're doing brake pads, not calipers,
Right.
and rotors.
Right.
But you don't want that.
At any point in time, this car could do a self-test and collapse the piston.
Yeah, you sure the heck don't want that. And he referred to, again, we're back in a shop and we're talking to a technician and he's talking shop talk. And I didn't mean to have you talk over the audience head. They're like, SI, what's SI?
Service information.
Thank you. And again, as a reminder, I would do this personally at least once a year. Spring's right around the corner right here in Ohio, so it's a good time to have this conversation to remind you guys once you get your cars out of storage in Ohio, for those of you that aren't in our climate. Yeah, lucky dogs.
And remember, go sparingly on this. You're not gooping it on.
Yeah.
You're just putting a thin layer on, enough to rehydrate the weather strips and make them look brand new again.
We've done this a couple of times in my car, haven't we?
Yeah. This is like drywall mud, though. Less is more. If you put more on, it's just more to wipe off. Just like when you're doing drywall. The more mud
You used to
put
do
in,
drywall, that's why he's using that analogy.
the more mud you put in, the more you got to sand out.
Right,
So,
right.
as you can see, if you look, the weather strips look brand new again.
Yeah, they do. Nice job.
Yeah. They're rehydrated, they're not dry, they're not dirty. Just revitalizes them. Okay.
All right, you want to show the folks the filters we're putting in, Chuck?
I'm sorry?
You want to show the folks the filters we're putting in? This is the one you probably haven't seen before.
Right. This is the one in the pan. Of course, this is your DCT filter.
Yes.
And we got gaskets, and the bolts have to be replaced because the bolts are one use only, torque to yield.
Okay.
So,
and don't forget, I have the 2 quarts in now, and I'd like to add the 2 quarts back in.
okay,
For the next customer.
no problem. First step's getting this shear plate off.
It's all sealed up underneath here. Wait for him to come back on camera. Oh, there he is. I just want to remind the folks, normal driving conditions, 3 years or 45,000 miles before you have to do what we're doing now, unless you're doing tracking events and things like that. That's changed the entire fluid system, changed both filters we just showed you on your C8 Corvette. What are you looking at?
Well, now that I've got the 45 bolts and screws
Yes.
to get the panels out,
Yeah.
now we can see the transmission.
So right here's where we're going to be going, right?
Yes.
All right, let me show the folks that a little bit. So that second filter is going to go right up in here, guys.
First thing we're going to do is get our drain pan and get the fluid draining. Fluid looks pretty clean.
Actually, it does.
Yeah.
Surprised. About 29,500 miles on the car now. Be ready to go for our new customer going to Corpus Christi, Texas. Told you I did a lot of business in Texas.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That's a pretty clean fluid in my mind.
Well, how many filters? I think we put like 4 or 5 filters, the regular DCT canister filters in over the 2 years I've had the car.
Right. I mean, it's transparent. You can see through it.
Yeah, so not as bad as I thought it was going to be. So,
No.
like you said, first line of defense is that filter.
Exactly.
Okay, so I feel pretty good about that, but still wanted to change it out and do the right thing for the next guy.
Sure.
So just letting you guys know some of the other stuff he's got to do to get ready to put the new fluid in.
Well, yeah.
You've got a lot more work, I thought.
Oh, yeah. The rear sway bar has to come out because
Why?
you have to jack the back part of the transmission up to get these back transmission bolts that are hidden underneath the cradle here. So, yeah.
All I hear is cash register ringing.
Oh, yeah, it's a lot more involved than what everybody thinks.
Oh, thanks.
See, this opens this up now to where I can put something on here and jack the rear of the transmission up to get those bolts.
Okay. Whose idea was to do this?
Huh?
I said, I was just kind of looking at the camera going, you know, whose idea was it to do all this?
Right.
Right.
Now I got to take the transmission mount nuts loose.
If you didn't think your C8 Corvette was an exotic car, just get the service bill.
Exactly.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff you got to do. So why are you jacking that rear end part up again?
To allow me to get to the transmission bolts that are trapped in between the cradle.
Oh, okay. I'm paying attention. I'm sorry.
Uh-huh.
Maybe that was for somebody watching in case they missed it, but for me too. It's like, what are we doing this again for? There she goes.
Got this wiring harness that goes over top of 2 of the bolts.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see it.
Yeah, see, these transmission bolts are the ones we're after.
Wow.
And you can't get to them with that set down in there.
Yep, you're right.
Yeah, in case you're wondering, I'm using my bowling green light.
I saw that there, yeah. Make it BG. A couple of years ago, this light was left in a car. It came off the carrier, and Chuck goes, oh yeah, Merry Christmas to me.
Still going strong, boys. I love it.
Yeah, he loves it. It's quite a process getting this damn pan off, I'll tell you what. Yeah, man, that was a lot of work. All those bolts way up in there. I mean, it was tight. You'd have the right tools to get in there, man.
Okay.
So the pan's coming off now.
Get my light out of the way. I don't want my light to get tranny fluid all over it. Now she's loose and wanting to flow.
Oh yeah, she does.
So watch, you might get a bath here.
Wow, oh yeah. There's that other filter right there. I feel really good how clean that fluid is.
Right.
After everything this car's been through.
We got 2 magnets here. One here, one here.
Okay.
That picks up the debris. As you can see, we're going to clean them before we put this back on. Get all the debris off of them. And change this filter out. As we take a look, this is the filter. The filter don't even look like it's got a lot of debris in it.
Wow.
It's colored, same color as the fluid, but
Sure.
he's not bad in there.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
So the stuff we've been doing on Tech Tuesday is working.
Yeah. Well, the service and maintenance you've been doing on the upkeep of this car is obviously doing what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, it makes me feel really good. I really thought that would have been dirtier.
Well, you and me both. But you're here live as I'm taking it apart, and no. The fluid is just an amber color. I mean, just a little darker than what the fluid comes out of the bottle.
It's got 29,000 miles on it, for goodness sakes.
Yeah.
A couple high-speed sessions, a lot of low-speed sessions.
Sure.
You know, and that's about it.
And a lot of maintenance.
A lot of maintenance. Yeah. Just realized you got so much going on. You picked up the wrong gasket. It's not for this.
Back to the parts department.
Yeah, they got it up there for us. We just called up there, so it's the gasket that's down in here that has to be replaced.
It goes in and around the pan.
Yeah, okay. Kind of
Instead of just lay it on top of it.
Okay, yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Let me go get that for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
All right, Chucky, what do you got there, buddy?
Well, this is our new filter.
Okay.
I just wanted to show that there's not much difference between this and what we took out, other than this one's dry and not wet.
That really doesn't look that much different. As far as here, come away from the light just a little bit. Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yeah.
Now you can see. Yeah, it really doesn't. Okay, so I have.
So if I put fluid in this one, it'll look just like the one we took out.
Sure. So actually, it was much better shape than I anticipated.
Yes.
A good reminder for you guys watching right now. Make sure you change out that canister DCT filter often.
First line of defense.
When you're doing your oil changes. Heck yeah, it is, man. This is eye-opening for me and hopefully for our audience as well.
I mean, I'm not sure, but I think these are like a $20,000 transmission, so.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the filter's kind of expensive, but it ain't 20 grand.
No, exactly.
And that's just for the transmission.
Right.
It's not the labor to do it.
Yeah, to put it in, right.
So, just a little side note.
I know there's two parts of that equation. Okay.
Yeah. There's the parts how much and the labor's what? We have two different size retaining screws.
Okay.
The long ones go here at the filter neck. The short ones go here just to hold it up. So make sure you don't mix them up.
What you playing with there?
This is my high dollar torque wrench. We're going to torque the filter into the 53 inch-pounds that's required.
All right, so you got the filter in there,
And it's torqued. Now we're going to clean this pan up and clean the magnets. But yeah, you were asking me about the fluid.
Right, you got to add the fluid, but you got to put it in two different spots. Why is that?
Well, right here, if you look, this is the fill plug for the 11 liters. I think it holds like 11.1 liters of transmission fluid.
Okay.
But then if you want to add the 2 extra quarts, which you want to add back in,
correct,
you can't do it from this hole. Because at this hole, you're at 11.1 liters. You're putting 2 liters above that.
Fuel line, okay, I got you.
So then it has to come through the top.
All right.
The expensive where you're tearing the rear end of the car apart, taking the air filter out, but
yes.
So.
Okay. Looky there. Ah, nice and clean, buddy.
Yeah.
Good job.
We got the pan nice and clean, got the new gasket installed. You can tell the magnets are kind of gray now instead of a black, because we got rid of all the debris that was on them, and we're ready to reinstall it.
Fantastic. And now you're doing the DCT filter.
Correct.
The canister filter.
The canister filter. Compared to the other filter, it's done its job and caught all the debris.
Right.
But the fluid coming out of it is still clear.
How's that arm feeling?
Both of them feel a little weak. As you can see, I'm trembling when I'm shoving it.
Yeah, no, that's a lot of work there, too.
Especially when you're doing 11 liters. As you can see, we just started running out. We're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9.5 liters in. The system holds 11.1 liters, but of course you're not going to get it all out by taking the pan off, so.
A lot more work than you realize, guys. Wow. Of course, they're only seeing the edited version of,
well, of course,
what you've done for the last several hours. All right, we'll have some closing statements in just a second, and then we're going to get to your beautiful rides. Oh, yeah. Once again this week, Chuck's counting all the
12 liters.
I saw you counting them. We have more great-looking cars for you guys to enjoy, so thanks again for joining us.
All right. Now that we're done with this, a couple friendly reminders.
Okay, hang on, let me get you on camera here so we can see. All right. Okay, so friendly reminders.
First of all, thanks for not emptying your trunk space for me to put the 2 extra liters in. That was fun.
If you guys are gonna have any of that work done in the trunk area, that he has to make sure you take all your crap out. I'm sorry, dude. I still have a bunch of stuff in there from the Houston trip.
Oh, yeah, I know. It's back in there now.
Okay, oh, thanks.
And the second reminder is, if you go in for your first service or anytime you have anything done, always remind them.
Yeah.
I've had the 2 extra liters installed.
Yeah.
So that they don't pull your plug to check it and your 2 extra liters run all over the ground.
Right. We covered a lot today, man. If you got guys doing stuff on their own for brakes, the safety tips you gave them was fantastic.
Sure.
The relearn of the tires was good. The molding maintenance is good. I think you should do that once a year.
Absolutely.
You know, whether you use the dielectric grease or something in there, it's really going to help.
Just be careful what you use. Like I said, you don't want to degrade the rubber. And that's what I found with the dielectric grease. It just absorbs into the rubber and helps bring
It's also
it back.
like a water repellency, too.
Yes.
That's one of the reasons you like using that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, fantastic. And then you got to see an oil change. The last service, the last time you want to say goodbye to this, the last time you're going to see this car, and you've seen it a bunch.
She's been a good girl.
It really has been. It's like, and I don't want to get all sentimental and And I appreciate all the work that you've done to it.
We talk about it off camera. You haven't had issues that a lot of the rest of them have had. So
yeah, I'm thankful for that.
Well, and I think a lot of the key to that is because you drive the car.
Broken in properly.
Whatever
it needed, we did.
And you drive it.
And went up yeah, and I do, and I went up and beyond what it needed.
Sure.
5 DCT canister filters in there, 1 new, really, if I knew the transmission fluid looked like that, I probably wouldn't have done this. I can't wait to see the bill on that, but we did it 15,000 miles before you were supposed to. I just felt that I didn't have that many track days, a couple low-speed stuff, 2 high-speed track days, but I just, you know, consciously I wanted to do that.
Sure.
But now I know, we talked about it earlier today. We talk about it every Tech Tuesday when we're talking about the C8 Corvette. The DCT filter is your first line of defense. My gosh, does it make a world of difference?
Oh, absolutely. Because you seen the DCT filter was black. The filter in the bottom of the pan was, the only difference was the new one hadn't had fluid in it yet. It was still the same color as the new one I put in.
Yeah, it's supposed to be black. It's supposed to catch all that crap.
And that's its job. Yes, that's why it's there.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't thank you enough for everything that you've done to the car. We've used this car on the channel to educate you guys, inform you guys, to give you better ownership tips, help you learn from my mistakes. That's what it's all about, and I enjoy doing that, and I can't wait to see what new adventures that the new car is going to bring us on the channel. I got a lot of stuff for you to do in the new car, by the way.
Yeah, don't I know it.
I already told the guys on Saturday I got bumped, so now it's going to be mid-March time. I don't know when it's going to be. We'll let you know next week on the channel, or later this week even, actually. In fact, we're going to give you contest details where you can guess my spec, have some fun with that, and win some cool Corvette prizes as well, so I hope you join us for that.
Can I enter?
You already know too much.
I know.
You know way too much, man. Don't worry, I'll just edit you out.
Oh, okay, cool.
No. It really has been a lot of fun, and I hope you guys feel that sense of pride that we have and what we've brought to you content-wise on the channel with this car, things to do, things not to do, the maintenance that's required. I just hope they make a better ownership experience for you guys out there with your Corvettes. I love seeing you at the shows, and we do it like Chuck said. We encourage you. I encourage you. That's my slogan. To stop dreaming, start driving, keep driving. Drive it all you can, man. That's how you can really appreciate this car, is by driving it. Whether you're on the track or not, just drive it. It really is. I mean, that trip to Houston was just wonderful for me.
Sure.
Okay, so we're enough talking about my car. Let's show off your cars. What do we got for them now, Chucky?
Your beautiful ride.
Yeah, damn straight.
Too young, and I didn't understand that you were the one, and I can't wait to see you Hindsight is fleeting, oh, and your heart's bleeding, and all you can see is red, till you discover it is within each other to forgive and make amends. If I had known then, or what I know now, I wouldn't have said what I said. I took the long road, thought I'd be better on my own. Sometimes what's right is wrong instead, 'cause I was too young, and I didn't understand that you were the one, and I can't wait to see you again. Oh, I can't wait, I can't wait, I can't wait. And I didn't understand that you